YouTube, what's up? Back again for another daily fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. I hope y'all enjoyed the recap of day 2 of the Bassmaster Open on Grand Lake. You know, that tournament was full of adversity. Every day was a little bit different, and it was definitely different in the tournament in comparison to practice. Both of those videos of the Bassmaster Open on Grand really highlight how hard it was and kind of the changing conditions and how I adapted to each day. Ended up getting a check in the event. Finished off the Bassmaster Open season in a good spot. Finished 8th place. I did not make the Bassmaster Elite Series. I've had a few questions about that. I was unfortunate not to make it, but, you know, that's just kind of how it is. But that's why we're here today. We're going to talk about the 2022 schedule for the Bassmaster Opens, kind of break down a few of the places I'm really excited about, talk about a few of the places that I'm not excited about. And I've got a few statistics pulled up, and I also have the schedule pulled up here. But hey, real fast though, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. You can find a little red square in the bottom right-hand corner of this screen. All you have to do is hit that button, put your email in, and you're subscribed. It's super duper easy, and it would mean a lot to me if you did that. But let's go ahead and dive right on into this open schedule. You know, the one thing about the Bassmaster Opens is it's always an adverse schedule. Like, you're always going to deal with some adversity, and this season is no different. So we'll start out in the Southern Opens, which is right here. The first tournament of the season, the Southern Opens, is February 3 through 5 at Kissimmee Chain of Lakes in Florida. So Lake Toho. Last time I was at Toho, Scott Martin got a top 10. I got to fish within about a flip's distance of him most of the event. We were kind of sharing a pad field that was really, really effective. I don't remember exactly who won that event, but I can tell you one thing. A lot of guys caught them offshore in the hydroa on Toho, and a handful of people caught them around pads and things like that. Sight fishing was a big factor in the first 2 days of the event. That last day of the event, they did not catch them sight fishing as much because there was an immense amount of wind. They had a big cold front come in. If you look at the weights for that particular event, they were definitely down on that final day. I think if you even caught a limit that day, you were in tremendous shape. The second event there, I'm obviously extremely happy about. March 31st through April 2nd, Cherokee Lake. The last time I went to Cherokee Lake in the spring, I won the event. This is going to be a little bit earlier than when I won the event, a couple of weeks earlier, in fact. The chances of hitting that spawn perfect again, I know, is slim to none. We truly hit the very best week of the entire year on Cherokee. And being 2 weeks early, I've seen them spawn a little early, smallmouth especially. It's colder water. I've seen them pull up, but it's all going to depend on the weather. I truly think Cherokee's going to show out in that particular event for the fact that Cherokee just has a lot of smallmouth and actually has a pretty decent population of largemouth in that body of water too. Cool thing about Cherokee is you can catch them from one end to the other and everywhere in between. It's a small place, and especially with over 200 boats, it's going to fish really, really small. So having those little needle in the haystack kind of places are going to be a big key for that particular event. I'm calling it right now. I do not think it's going to be a sight fishing tournament. I don't think it's going to be a spawn tournament, but I could be wrong, and I hope I am because I know all the places they like to spawn there. October 6th through 8th, Lake Hartwell. You know, last time I went to Lake Hartwell in the fall, I made a top 10 in that event, finished, I think, 5th or 6th, something like that. They absolutely caught them in that particular tournament. Now, fast forward a year, 2021, I've got some buddies that live over there. They said Hartwell has been just fishing absolutely tough this year. The bite's been really hard. And a lot of lakes cycle like that. Sometimes they're really fantastic in the fall, and sometimes they're not. Anytime you're dealing with fall conditions, you have the chance that the fishing is going to be tough. I absolutely think that event could be one of those tough ones, but we won't know until we get there. Southern Opens, by far, if I had to grade the Southern Opens, I give that one an A. The deal is I truly believe that is a very good schedule. We're hitting a lot of places at some really, really good times. You can't really ask for a better schedule for the Southern Opens. I think it's going to pile up. There's going to be a ton of guys signing up early in that event, or for those events. So if you can get in, you better get in because they're going to catch them in those 3 tournaments. Next up, we have the Central Opens. The Central Opens have been talked about a lot lately. There's a lot of guys that aren't very happy about the Central Open schedule. I, for one, I've only got one tournament on there I don't like. The rest of them, not so bad. I mean, it is what it is. April 28th through 30th, Barnett Reservoir in Mississippi. You know, I fished one there a handful of years ago. I actually pulled it up here. I don't know if I fished this particular one. I don't think I fished this one. But it took a 3-day total of 44 pounds to win. Stephen Browning won it. That particular event was March 1 through 3. And, I mean, it was that was more of a pre-spawn tournament. The one that we're going to be fishing this year is going to be a post-spawn, right on that post-spawn fringe. So it could be really tough, but it could be really good too. I've seen it kind of go both ways. It just depends how cold our winters are. You know, if we have a crazy snow like we did last year, it could really change up some of the fishing, make it a little bit tougher, make it better, maybe push the spawn back. You know, it just kind of depends on how many cold fronts we get and all that kind of stuff, how much water they get. I mean, heck, if it gets a ton of rain, it changes it completely too. So, look to see that one being one of the best ones of the Centrals this year as far as weights go. 44 pounds. Is definitely a good weight, especially in a pre-spawn tough event. The next one is the Red River, and that one is going to be September 22nd through 24th. So I'll just go ahead and say, this is the one thing I don't like about the Opens, is the fact that the first tournament's in April and the next tournament's in September. You know, there's a lot of great months between there that we could go fish bodies of water that, like a Red River, that are tough, that would make it a little bit better fishing conditions. But you know what, guys? We all have to fish in it, so it's just kind of what it is. The Red River is notoriously a tough place. The last time Bass was there was 2018. June was when they were there, June 14 through 16, and 30 pounds won the 3-day event. So a 10-pound average won the event. So that should tell you right there just how tough that body of water is. The problem with the Red River right now is most of the backwaters are all silted in, and it's really hard to find places that don't have a lot of boats in them. And so just being able to get to places is like 3/4 of the battle, and then even getting a few bites a day is going to be a struggle. I mean, even looking at the top 10, just to make the top 10, it only took 9 pounds a day. So as the tournament progressed, the fishing got way tougher. And that was just in June. So that's actually not a terrible time on the Red River. But then you go to September to the fall, it could be way worse. Because fall fishing in the South can be extremely tough. I look for that one to be a really, really tough event. I don't think the weights are going to be any good at all. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist here. It's just the fact of what it is. The Red River just does not have the fish population like it used to. I'd literally trade that one for just about any other lake, even the Lake Louisville, and I can't stand that place. October 20 through 22nd, Sam Rayburn. I pulled up tournament results from the last time the Opens were there. That was 2020. I fished this particular event, and that tournament was September 10 through 12, so a little bit earlier, about a month and a half earlier. It took 61 pounds to win the event, 60 pounds, 14 ounces, and I remember that particular tournament, and we caught the fire out of them. And actually, I would go on a limb to say that we should have caught them immensely better, but the water dropped a little bit and really messed up some of the fishing. Rayburn just absolutely has them. It has a good population of fish. You expect to see some pretty good weights, especially in late October, because those fish are starting to transition. You know, they're going to start eating the topwater better. The grass comes into play even more. The deep bite gets really, really good, and that deep bite's continually getting better as the year progresses, as the fall progresses. So the later in the fall, the more the deep bite becomes a factor. I expect there to be at least a 60 to 65 pound winning weight, and just for the fact that the lake just has such a good amount of quality in it, and it has the potential to catch a 6 to 10 pounder, and not every place you go in the country has that potential. So if I was grading out the Centrals, I'll be honest with you guys, I give it like a C+. I definitely have seen better, and the reason I say that is strictly because you have a Ross Barnett and a Red River. If I think of a Central Division, I think lakes like Grand, and I don't even like Grand that much, but Table Rock, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, Texoma, I could name 60 places I'd rather go than the Red River and Ross Barnett. But you know what? That's just what the schedule we're dealt with. But I'm going to grade it out as honest as I can. A C plus is as good as I can give that place, or that particular schedule of events. Northerns, the last set of tournaments that we have for the Open Division, or the 3 Open Divisions, April 14th through 16th, James River. I personally love the James River. I think the place is very fertile. It has a fantastic population of fish. We're hitting it around the spawn. You could not ask for a better time to go to the James River. I've happened to be there a few different times of the year. April is far and beyond the best time to go there for quality and numbers. I've been there in the fall a few times where the frog bite really picked up, and that was a lot of fun. But I would much rather be there in the spring when they're spawning. It just changes a lot of things. It makes it way more fun. July 7th through 9, Oneida. I fished Oneida this year. Oneida is one of those places I really enjoy fishing. It just doesn't have the numbers as it did. I heard a rumor, and this is strictly a rumor, but I heard that they'd had a fish kill a few years back that lost a lot of their higher quality fish. But I saw a lot of potential in that place. If you look at the weights that we had this past season when we were there, the weights were down. But part of the reason the weights were down is because the wind blew an enormous amount both days of the event. We didn't have that kind of wind in practice, and it really messed a lot of things up and made fishing a lot of places offshore virtually impossible. I mean, guys still caught some out there, but it definitely wasn't at the same level as it was in practice. So I look to see the Oneida Lake tournament, the weights to definitely increase in comparison to what they were this year. The fishing's going to be way better. And it has a great population of walleye as well, so it makes it way more fun too. The last event in the Northern Opens would be the Upper Chesapeake Bay. I haven't been to the Upper Chesapeake Bay in quite some time, quite a few years. The time that I did fish there, they were actually recovering from a hurricane that blew a lot of salt up in the bay, and it actually forced all the fish off the flats up into the rivers, up into the arms. So it condensed the field immensely and made it really tough to catch fish. I want to say that tournament was won by Nate Wellman up in the very top end of a creek. This time, unless bearing a setback of a hurricane, I really believe this lake is going to show out late fall or early fall on Chesapeake Bay. I really think the fish are going to bite pretty good. I think the fishing is going to be pretty good. Overall, the northern schedule, when you start taking places out like St. Clair, St. Lawrence River, Champlain, and you don't go to these places, I can't for the life of me give it an A ranking. I'm going to have to give this one a B minus. And overall, but just for the fact that there's so many other great fisheries in the north that we could go to. But the good thing about it, the reason it does get the ranking that it does, is we're actually hitting some places at good times. So that does make it a lot better. Overall, I'm going to say a grade for the entire open schedule. I'm going to have to say like a B to B plus, around in that range. Definitely a good schedule, a diverse schedule. You have a few rivers, you have a few man-made reservoirs, you have some natural lakes, you have some tidal places, which it really always throw a curveball into places. Overall, good schedule. I'm looking forward to fishing the opens. I think it's going to be a fun season. We will be traveling with a crew again. So we'll have a bunch of videos coming out on each body of water with Hallman and Castledine. Castledine will be fishing the Centrals. Panger is going to be fishing all of them as well. So make sure y'all check it out. Here's the Bassmaster Open schedule. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Which lake are you looking forward to the most? Where should we go next? And yeah, let's let Bass know where we should be going. I know a lot of guys are going to tell me we should be going west for the fact that I have a lot of West Coast anglers on here, and I couldn't agree with you more. I would love to see a West Coast swing on the Bassmaster Opens. I would fish every one of them even then. I don't care where they are out there, because I know the quality of fisheries that y'all do have out west. I think it would add such a great addition to this schedule, have a West Coast division, and even more places to make the Elite Series, and I can't ask for much more than that. But guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Like I said before, comment below what places you'd like to see us go to, and which place are you looking forward to the most. I'd love to hear what it is. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next video.